So here's the deal. Software actually accounts for 4% of global CO2 emissions. And if you look at the US alone, 5% of energy is consumed by data centers. And do you know what data centers do a lot? They run a lot of background jobs. Batch processing, running reports, data pipelines. And a lot of these jobs, they don't really care when they run. So what you can see here is a graph of 24 hours in the UK. And where you see those dips, that's where there's a lot of green energy available on the grid. The peaks, that's when actually fossil fuels are being used to fill the gaps. So if you could shift your workload to a moment where there's a lot of green energy available, that's what we're called carbon-aware computing. So this way, without any big infrastructure changes and just a couple of lines of code, you can make a real impact. And JobRunner makes it super simple to do so. In this video, I'm going to show you in around 10 minutes how you can easily do that. In a previous video, we made a Spring Boot, for example, with JobRunner. We had some background jobs that we were scheduling recurrently, and we're going to convert those recurring jobs to carbon-aware jobs. So if you haven't seen that video yet, check out the video here below and get started there. So first thing that we need to do is that we need to configure our application so that it knows that it needs to process carbon-aware jobs. So to do that, I would advise you to go to our JobRunner documentation, and there you can find a lot of valuable info. You can find here all the area codes that you can use. You can find here the providers that we support. And you might notice here that we only have Europe and Great Britain available, but we actually also already have the US available. So if you're a US company who wants to try this out, just reach out to us and we will make sure that you get access to those as well. So you find also the configuration here, and that's the first thing that we need to do. Since it's a Spring Boot app, we can just copy this configuration and then just paste it in our application properties. What it says here is that we enabled background job, carbon-aware job processing. This is my area code. If you don't know what your area code is, just have a look here. The area codes are in here. And then your data provider, you can also find that in the table. And then this is some configuration on how often that your application needs to pull our carbon-aware API to check if there are new forecasts. So for now, we just leave that default. Next thing that we need to do is convert those recurring jobs here into carbon-aware jobs. So if you remember from the previous video, these were just recurring jobs that run here every night at 2 a.m. just with an easy method that we scheduled it. And we also showed you the possibility to use an annotation at the method with a cron expression here to also schedule it recurrently. So these are two completely different ways, but super easy ways to schedule recurring jobs. So how can we now easily transform those to carbon-aware jobs? Again, have a look at our documentation. There's a lot of cool stuff in there and easy stuff in there. So what we're going to do is that we're going to take our cron interval that we had before, and we're going to define a time period before and after that cron expression would actually fire. So in this case, it would fire every night at 2 a.m. But what we do here is that we say like, we're fine that if it runs 3 hours before or 3 hours after the 2 a.m. So that's our carbon-aware window that we define. And we say, okay, this job actually just needs to be executed within that window. So to make this demo a bit more interesting, I'm going to here say it can be 6 hours before, and it can be 1 hour to 1 hour after. Voila. So then that way we're now already in that window. So then I can show you on the dashboard. Another way to do these things, you can also see it here, is you can use the carbon-aware daily between. This is one of my favorites. Super simple. You say carbon-aware daily between. I just want to run it between 2 at night and 8 in the morning. And then we can also just drop this in instead of the cron expression. And super easy, super readable when this, in which time period this needs to run. Gonna keep it to this one. And if I go here to the one with the annotation, same thing here, we can just define the time period. So same bracket notation. Voila. Let's save both files and then have a look at how this looks like in our dashboard. You go to your recurring jobs, you see there the 2 jobs that you had scheduled. And now what you notice is that both of them have this green leaf. And if you hover over the green leaf, then you can see that it's scheduled normally at 2 a.m. with the Corona expression, but that we can schedule it 6 hours earlier or 1 hour later to minimize carbon impact. So that's super cool. But what if you want to know the exact moment that it's going to be scheduled? You can just go to your jobs, go to schedules. You see here again the green leaf, this is a carbon aware job. And then if you click on it and you click here, then you see actually the carbon aware or the carbon API data. So you see the moment in which it can be scheduled. It could actually already schedule it now because you see this is the interval of which is possible. But now is a very bad moment. There's a lot of carbon, like it's here, the intensity 153, and it actually picked a moment here at this point in day where the carbon intensity is only 68. So super simple for you to configure, super easy to see when it's going to execute it and when it will execute it there. So there's actually nothing holding you back to try to use this. Check out our documentation here on carbon aware processing. We have all the info on here for Europe and for Great Britain. If you're in the US or somewhere else in the world, the chances that we already have those data providers available for you, just reach out to us. If you want to use your custom data providers, because maybe you want to factor in electricity costs or maybe compute costs at your specific data center, if you have a JobRunner Pro license, you can also pull that in. So if you want more info on that, also reach out to me. And I hope you found this video interesting. If it was interesting, like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. It's always nice for us to see that we make content that is liked by other people. So thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next one and looking forward to see what you will code with this. Ciao.